Hi folks, this is Ron with Turning 65 Solutions. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions and complaints lately from people who are turning 65 or have been there for a few months about all the telemarketing calls. You're getting a lot of phone calls right now if you're turning 65. You've been on YouTube, obviously researching the topic. That's why this video popped up. But, you know, it's really gotten bad here in the last about year and a half. There are just so many agents flooding into this, what can be a very lucrative market of people turning 65, trying to make a dollar. And one of the ways that they do it is they call people on the phone. And a lot of these agents are good, reputable, well-meaning agents, but some of them aren't. And here's some of the things that you can do to kind of protect yourselves from the bad ones. And the first thing I want you to know is that just because somebody calls you on the phone doesn't make them a bad person or even a bad agent. But you know, what that generally means is that for whatever reason, they've chosen to do business over the phone rather than in person, and that's fine. It's just, it's not my cup of tea. I like to meet people in person, or at least have some sort of relationship with you before we ever would do business on the phone. So here's how to spot a good agent over the phone. Well, let me just say that here's how to spot a bad agent and what you should do when you get these calls and these agents start out. First of all, if you feel any kind of high pressure at all, just hang up the phone and block that number on your phone. Don't let them call you anymore. If you have an iPhone, there's certain ways that it's very easy to block that number where it won't ever get through anymore. And if you're talking to the person and you're kind of liking what they say, here's a couple of things you can do. Certainly, before anybody sells you insurance on the phone, they're going to want to verify your identity. And one of the ways they do that is with your driver's license, or you just giving them your information over the phone. Do not give your personal information over the phone to anybody you do not know, or if you have not verified who they are. Don't give them your social security number. Don't give them your date of birth. Don't give them your address. Certainly don't give them your checking account number, your credit card number. Here's what you should do. Get their information. Get their name, their address, their phone number where you can call them back directly. And then what you do is you hang up the phone. You hang up the phone and you go to your state's Department of Insurance website. I happen to work in the state of Texas, so here's their website right here. You just put it into Google, Texas Department of Insurance Agent Lookup. And every state should have a site that's something like this. You put it in and they're right there. You can just put your name in, put that agent's name in, and it will tell you whether or not they are licensed in your state. And that person should, there's several Ronald Rays in the state of Texas, but this one is me. And this is my license. You go here, these are all of the companies that I'm appointed to do business with in the state of Texas. And ask the agent what company they're representing, and they might say all of them, or they might say one particular company. Whatever the case is, go through that list and see if they are currently appointed to do business with that company. If you find that out, the address matches, then what you do is you call them back on that phone number. And you call them back on that phone number. Anybody that's asking you to do business over the phone should be able to answer the phone that they're calling you from. If they're not able to answer the phone, or if you call them back and that phone number shows up as disconnected or not in service or not accepting calls, that's a big red flag. So make sure that they're able to give you a number where you can contact them back directly. So if you check them out on the Department of Insurance, you feel comfortable with them, go ahead and call them back. If they answer the phone, then you can go ahead and get some more information from them. Please just be very, very careful about giving out your personal information over the phone. Second thing is Medicare never calls you. And I did a quick search on that one here. Just Google search, does Medicare call you on the phone? It just so happens, coincidentally, Medicare put out a tweet on their official Twitter site It's right here, Medicare.gov. This is their official one. Medicare will never call you uninvited or ask for personal information to get your new Medicare card. Now, that's another scam that's going around. Everybody knows that you're getting a new Medicare card. It's going to have a different number on it. It's not your Social Security number. I've done a couple of videos on that. You can go back to my page and look at that. But Medicare generally is not going to call you on the phone. They're certainly not going to ask you for any personal information. So if somebody calls you up and says they're from the Medicare Enrollment Center, that person is an insurance agent. They're trying to get you to spend money with them. If they are saying something like that, they are not an honest agent. They don't need to be saying that they're from the Medicare Enrollment Center, or that they work for Medicare, or that they represent Medicare or Social Security. In fact, those are actually violations of the law, and they can get in big trouble for that, big fines, and possibly even lose their license. Other things that they shouldn't say, certain states have rules about certain words that they can't have in their title. When we're dealing with seniors and Medicare age people, like the word senior. You know, the state of Texas frowns on the use of the word senior. I can't be a senior benefits advisor, because that lends some false credibility to what I do just by virtue of that word senior. So just be careful. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, another thing is that there's just so many people getting into the telemarketing for Medicare that you may have put your phone number on the national or the state do not call list, and you're still getting these calls. A lot of that is because there's so many of them that the federal government, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC just doesn't have time to prosecute all these cases. At any rate, it's a civil fine anyway. And they only do that on large complaints typically. Now, they will tell you that they have prosecuted cases based on one complaint on one call, but I think that in reality it's probably just very large cases. But one thing that's very prevalent now is agents hiring foreign or Filipino telemarketers to call the many thousands of phone numbers that we're not allowed to call here originating from the United States, because you have taken the time to put your phone number on the do not call list and just told the telemarketing world at large that you don't want them calling you. So what they've done to get around this is they hire telemarketers in foreign countries. Most of them are in the Philippines because they speak pretty good English and are able to work very well with us here in the U.S. Under a belief that they no longer have to comply with the do not call list. That's simply not true. These are U.S.-based agents who are paying these foreign telemarketers to do their dirty work for them, and it's still a violation. But here's what you can do. There's unfortunately probably not a lot you can do about that. If they're going to break the law, they're going to break the law. There's not much you can do about it except file complaints. And here's where you go. The Federal Trade Commission website is just simply donotcall.gov, and you can file complaints here to report those unwanted calls. You can verify that your phone is still on the do not call list. There was some beliefs earlier on that your number would be on the list for 5 years and then it would fall off and it would be available again. I did verify mine. It's been on there for 14 years now, and it's still on the do not call list. I still get a lot of telemarketing calls all the time, but it's definitely still on the list. If your number's not on the list, you got a new phone, you got a new phone number, you can put your number on the do not call list. So that's one way to avoid it. Then, as I mentioned before, you can just use the features in your phone. Specifically, if you have a smartphone, an iPhone will block calls. I'm not as familiar with the Android products, but I'm sure they have call blocking features also. Something else that I tried out as I was researching for this video was an app called YouMail. At YouMail.com. It's an app that you put on your phone. You register for an account, and it's free. There's a free service here. And let me see if I can just find the service. Go back to the home page here, and there's a paid portion of it, but I think for our purposes here, just blocking the unwanted telemarketing calls, the free service seems to be working fine. I've been using it over the last few days. And you can see here a list. There's my mom called me. I did call her back, by the way. But here's a list just yesterday and the last few days of these. Here's a telemarketer right here that was calling from that number, and that call was blocked. And an interest rate scam. So these are numbers. These are known telemarketing scams, known numbers that are being blocked automatically by this app. By the way, I'm not affiliated with this company at all. I don't make any money if you sign up for this app. I just I was doing a little research and found this and thought it would be a helpful tool. So what we do here is we help people with Medicare or turning 65 understand and give you an education about this topic. And we put our videos out on YouTube. You find them and you call us. We never call you unsolicited. So we're here. Our number is 800-515-4031. Now, we're based in Texas, but we're licensed in multiple states around the U.S. Give us a call if you have any questions, you need any help with the topics here on the telemarketing or the Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, whatever you need information, education on, give us a call. Until we meet again, take care.